So England prepared to take on Poland tonight at Wembley in a crunch game that will determine their fate for the World Cup in Brazil. So we'll look back firstly on the game on the past Friday versus Montenegro where they won 4-1. Bill, what did you think of it?
Yeah, from what I saw, I thought it was a much improved display by England. It wasn't that difficult to improve on what happened in Ukraine, where it was a very abject performance, to say the least. I thought attacking-wise looked very good. Andros Townsend was fantastic. What a debut it was by him. I think Rudy and Sturridge, there were signs there, their partnership was blossoming. I thought England played pretty well. They did what they had to do. They've got to do the same again tonight.
It was a pretty big decision by Hodgson to include someone like Andros Townsend and play him. Simon, how do you think that worked out? Do you think it was a success?
Yeah, it turned out to be, I wouldn't say a lucky success, but it was a gamble, as I think some people have been rightly pointing out, because although he's played well for Spurs this season, and as we'll come on to, he obviously did really well at QPR last season on loan, he's still obviously not a tried and tested player on the international stage. But, you know, he showed no fear, he was running at the defence, and I think that direct threat from a winger is what England really need, because I think sometimes they have the tendency to just pass it around a bit too much and get a bit, you know, when you're just trying to break down a team that's obviously just out to defend, it becomes very difficult. And when you have a direct attacker like that, sometimes it can provide that spark to get the urgency up and, you know, help you break down the team and get the win.
Tommy, what do you think of Hodgson's approach and tactics?
I think he's done very well. I've been very impressed with him so far at England, but I think that people criticise England too much when it doesn't go well, and then praise them too much when it does go well. Against Ukraine, I think that was a really good performance, and I think it was a great result. It did the job. We were compact. We didn't let them have too many chances, and so I think people were over negative about that performance. Now we played Montenegro, a very defensive team, and we played with a lot of attacking players, and it worked for us. We came off and we scored a lot of goals, but that was against Montenegro. People shouldn't start to think, you know, what a great performance and Townsend's a new hero for England. It was a good performance against the type of opponent we had to do. And I'm kind of praising Hodgson here because it's kind of adapting the style to your opponent. If we played how we did against Montenegro, against Ukraine, we wouldn't have won. People think we would, but we wouldn't have, because it would have been too open against the quality players which Ukraine have. So Hodgson's done very well in terms of not just having one style and having a number of styles and adapting them to each game we play.
What are your guys' thoughts on Andros Townsend? Because he's not exactly a player which has set the Premier League alight. He's spent a lot of his career out on loan at various clubs and short stints. Why is he now an England starter?
Well, I mean, I think his spell at Queen's Park Rangers last year has been the making of his career. I mean, that was the 9th club he's played out on loan. He's only 22 years of age. But to get regular football in the Premier League, and he played pretty well. I don't know, QPR, they got relegated and were pretty poor, but he played very well himself. And he's carried that form over in pre-season and for Tottenham so far in their good start. You know, it was a great debut, and he showed direct running, which England don't always have. When they got Walcott, he weren't playing. So, you know, he showed no fear, and he kept on running at the fence. He kept on trying even when he lost the ball. So, you know, more of the same, but the pressure's on him now. So, can he keep going? We'll have to see.
I think the first thing is he's come back off a very successful loan period at QPR under a manager who knew him before. I think he felt comfortable in that situation. I think that also he was able to show his true talents. QPR were in a pretty doomed position, so he had a kind of free role to show off his ability, which he did so, and he did very well. But I think the second thing, and I think this is the defining factor, is that he came back to Tottenham, and Villas-Boas put a lot of faith into him, a lot of belief. And I think that he saw that there was going to be an opportunity there with Bale moving on. And when you're a player and you see an opportunity, you start to then develop some belief, and he's taken the opportunity, and he hasn't looked back since. So he's keeping out Eric Lamela of the Tottenham team, who was their star signing from the summer. So he's done very well, and since Lamela's now settled in, Phyllis Burse has still maintained the belief of Townsend, and that's only going to further his confidence. Due to the success of Spain, so many players now are, and it's right in a way, are less direct, more possession based, more keeping the ball. That's the importance. And I think more and more players are becoming into that mould. There's less type of players with how Giggs used to be. Get the ball, head down and run and be direct and be greedy. And I think Townsend is an example of that. He's still maintained that dribbling winger style. And I think that suits England, especially when they have players like Wilshere, Gerrard Lampard, even Milner, people like that. It's good to have someone with a lot of pace and directness in the team.
I think Townsend has shown he's quite strong mentally as well, because obviously in the summer he was banned by the FA for gambling. He was banned for 4 months, 3 of which were suspended. And he sort of he took the responsibility of leaving himself out of the under-21 squad. So, that could affect some fragile players, but he's bounced back pretty well from that.
England fans shouldn't start to think that Townsend is England's hero. It was a very good performance against a Montenegro side, though. Let's see how he does against some stronger teams, because he's going to be up against a lot tougher competitors than that. So for me, in that position, the right side, Theo Walcott is no doubt the strongest in that position, and I think the position is still his, but it's good to have healthy competition with the likes of Townsend.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think the key thing about Townsend is he still has a long way to go, and as I've said before, and as I was saying to you before, Bill, I think one of the key things is when you're a young Premier League player is getting that key loan spell to another Premier League team, and for a lot of people it's proven to be like their point of breaking through. Obviously, getting loaned out how many times he did to lower league teams, wasn't the best for him. But QPR was the making of him, as you say in your Monday article. It's proven the same with Cleverley, Wilshere, Welbeck. I think it's a great point. Obviously, there's some cases where it doesn't work, like McEachran from Chelsea. We're still waiting to see if he's going to break through. But for Townsend, it looks like it's been a successful one.